Good morning, campers, and welcome back. Today is Tuesday, and we will continue learning what we learned yesterday. But today we're going to practice it more, and we're also adding multiplication. So yesterday you all became fluent adding and subtracting mathematicians. Today you're going to become fluent adding, subtracting, and multiplying mathematicians. So let's get right to it. So first, I just want to quickly review what we learned yesterday. We learned that there are different terms to represent the four operations in math, okay? At least the four that you all have been introduced to. So we have adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, sum, total, and all together. How many? Those are also some additional terms for adding. For subtracting, we have difference, many more, how many more, less than, minus, okay, less, lower than. Those are some terms you have for subtraction. For multiplication, you have times, each, product. You may also see multiple, okay, those are some words that you would, twice. Those are some words or phrases for multiplying. And division, quotient, split, half, equally distributed. Those are phrases that represent division problems. So now we're going to practice adding, fluently adding and subtracting, and then we're going to introduce and practice multiplying, okay? So remember, when you're adding and subtracting, line up your numbers in the correct place value. So we have 501 minus 362. Okay, 501 minus 362. 1 minus 2 you cannot do because 1 is less than 2. So you have to borrow, take away from the place value directly to the left. So if I take away 1, actually, I'm sorry. All right, so since we can't borrow from this 0, 1 take away 2 you can't do, and we can't borrow from 0 because it's a 0 value, we have to shift all the way to the hundreds place. So I'm gonna borrow 1 from the hundreds place. 5 minus 1 is 4. And I'm gonna add 10 to my tens place. So now this becomes 10. Now I can go back to the beginning. Can you take 1 from 2? No, still can't do that. But now I can borrow from my tens place because there's a 10 there. That turns into a 9, and this 1 plus 10 becomes 11. So 11 minus 2 is 9. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 4 minus 3 is 1. 139. All right, next, 893 plus 12. Don't forget to line up your place values. So we have 3 plus 2. When we're adding, there's no need for us to see if we can borrow. We don't do that in addition. 3 plus 2 is 5. 9 plus 1 is 10. Okay, so we put our 10 here and we put our 0 here and we carry our 1. There's your 10. So you have 10, 0 here, carry the 1. Now we have 1 plus 8 plus nothing. 1 plus 8 is 9, and 9 plus nothing is 9. So that is 905. Okay, remember the goal of this lesson is to become fluent adding and subtracting mathematicians. 743 minus 216. Start with your ones place. 3 minus 6 you cannot do because 3 is smaller than 6. This value has to be bigger than the bottom value in order for you to just subtract straight across. So we'll move over. 4, we can borrow 1, and that turns into a 3. So we're going to take 1 from 4, that turns into a 3, And now we're going to add 10 to our 3 here, and that's 13. And I added 10 because I borrowed from one place value over in the tens place. So 13 minus 6 is 7. 3 minus 1 is 2. And 7 minus 2 is 5. Okay? 527. All right. 200 plus 495. We're adding this time. Don't forget to line up your place values. 0 and 5 is 5. 0 plus 5. 0 plus 9 is 9. And 2 plus 4 is 6. 695. Now for some of you, I know you may say this is basic, but this is how you become a fluent adding and subtracting mathematician. Being able to do the basics just like that. 503 minus 163. 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 minus 6 you can't do. So we're going to move over one place value. We're just shifting one place value. So that's, I'm borrowing 10. I'm going to give myself 10. And I took away 1 here. That turns into a 4. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. 340. And last, for our fluent adding and subtracting mathematicians, 973 plus 997. Okay, start with your ones place. 3 plus 7 is 10. Put your 0, carry your 1. Okay, 1 plus 7 is 8, and 8 plus 9 is 17. Put your 7 here, carry your 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 plus 9 is 19. So this is 1,970. Okay, so that was it for our adding and subtracting fluently. Okay, and remember, fluently means you do it just like that. Just like you all can read fluently without stumbling, you want to be able to do your math fluently without thinking twice or without stumbling. So now we're just going to shift up and we're going to practice our multiplication. All right, so now we're going to shift to multiplying. And one thing about multiplication is very important, that the way we set up our adding and subtracting problems is the way it was written. When we set up our multiplication problems, we don't necessarily set it up the way you see it. You set it up with the number that has the most digits goes to the top. The number that has the least digits goes to the bottom. So we have 7 times 60. 7 has 1 digit and 60 has 2 digits. So 60 would go to the top. Okay, multiplied by 7 goes in your ones place. So I want to just go through and practice our setup for these first 3 problems, and then we'll come back. We have 5 times 40. 40 has the most digits. That number goes to the top. Times 5 goes in the ones place. And then we have 3 times 80. 80 has the most digits. It goes to the top. Times 3. So we do not, and I'm going to show you what an example of what not to do. 7 times 60. You would not write 7 times 60. That is not the correct way to write that problem, okay? Any multiplication problems you encounter, the digits, the number with the most digits goes to the top. All right, so let's get to our multiplying. We're multiplying single digit numbers, 2 digit by 1 digit, I'm sorry. So we start with our ones place just with addition. 0 times 7. 0 times 7 is 0. Place your 0 in the ones place. And then you shift. Now you're multiplying 7 times that digit in the tens place. 7 times 6 is 42. So 420. Okay? So ones place first. 5 times 0, 0. Then ones place, tens place. So it simply goes like this. This is how you multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. Bring all that down, which is 200. Okay, ones place first. 0 times 3, 0. And then 3 times 8 is 24, 240. All right, so now if you notice, these numbers ended in 0, so they were very easy. Now we're going to shift and take it up a notch. 16 times 4. Remember, the number with the most digit goes to the top. 16 times 4. And we want to start with our ones times our ones. 4 times 6 is 24. Just like you carry in addition, you do the same thing for multiplication. So 6 times 4 is 24. You put your 4 here and you carry your 2. And then you multiply this way. 1 times 4. If you notice, I left that 2 out because I don't want to touch that 2 until the end. So 1 times 4 is 4. And then I'm going to add this 2. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. So 16 times 4 equals 64. 12 times 5. Number with the most digit goes to the top. Line up your place value. 5 times 2 goes first. That's our ones place, which is 10. 0, carry the 1. Then I want to multiply 5 times 1. I want to leave that 1 out. I'm going to add it at the end. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, very similar to addition. And lastly, 2 times 24. Remember, I'm not going to write 2 first because 2 has a lesser amount of digits than 24. So I'm going to put 24 first, multiplied by 2. And then I'm going to start multiplying. 4 times 2 first. 4 times 2 is 8. And then I'm going to do 2 times 2, which is 4. So 24 times 2 is 48. So hopefully next time I see you, you all will become fluent multiplying mathematicians. Okay, so today, just a review. We reviewed our vocabulary, phrases, and terms that you may see in a word problem for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And we also reviewed how to fluently add and subtract. And then we also introduced multiplication. And next time, you all will become fluent multiplication mathematicians. Don't forget, believe in yourself, and see you next time.